6 News. First Alert Weather Extra starts now.
Welcome into Weather Extra. Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt. We've got some hot weather to talk about going into First Alert weather days for the next few days for tomorrow, Friday, and also into our Saturday. Let's take a look at this First Alert weather day. Let's go to the graphics, and I just want to show you here the temperatures as we move ahead. We're going to be talking about triple-digit feels-like conditions over the next few days, excessive heat warnings that are in effect across west and central areas, but I want to point out to the far east, we're not included in these warnings, but don't let your guard down. It's still going to be dangerously hot in these eastern areas as well. Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, Coleman, down into Shelby County, all around the state, we're talking highs in the 90s and at least triple-digit feels-like temperatures for these areas to the far east. And try to avoid strenuous outdoor activities. You start feeling dizzy, weak, you're out there, you almost got the yard finished, you've been mowing and try to get an early start. Don't push it. If you do start to feel those signs of heat exhaustion, take some breaks, cool off, make sure you stay well hydrated. We want you safe out there. We had a story just a few moments ago on the news about fatalities already related to the heat across the country, and that's one of the number one things when it comes to weather, any type of weather hazard that causes injury, fatality. It's the heat that ranks as number one. So you don't think about it, and I know it's hot around here all the time, but days like tomorrow, it can certainly sneak up on you. So if you're sensitive to the unhealthy air qualities and you start noticing your breathing rate increasing, try to avoid that tomorrow. Try to anything that's going to cause you to easily get out of breath tomorrow. Avoid strenuous outdoor activities. If you want to get a walk in, enjoy some time outside. Again, try to get out there early or either late into the evening, although the evening time it's still kind of warm. We've got a concert happening over in Tuscaloosa tonight at the amphitheater. We've got a lot of events going on. Wet Nose Wednesday out at the Regions Park there with the Birmingham Barons out at Regions Field tonight playing. So for Barons fans heading out tonight, hot conditions. It's 93 right now in Birmingham. Look at Tuscaloosa there, 93 degrees, and East Alabama, Anniston, Jacksonville, our friends here around Oxford. We are feeling the heat right now all the way down to Rockford and across Flagpole Mountain, those areas down into the southeast part of the coverage area, but no rain showing up. This is all ground clutter, and if you've looked out there, and especially you'll notice it right now on the horizon, very, very hazy. Not only do we have the ozone concentrations or the poor air quality, a part of that is also some of that wildfire smoke. We had a north wind this week, helped brought some of that smoke from the fires in Canada has also settled in again across the state. So it's just a prime recipe, perfect recipe for hot, hazy, and humid, and that's what we're going to be dealing with here over the next few days. But we will see some scattered storms making a return over the weekend. By the way, that was an old headline. I don't know how that popped up, but things are quiet in the tropics right now. We're not seeing any active weather happening there. So if you are heading down to the Gulf Coast, not concerned about any tropical systems at this time, but the one thing you'll really want to watch out for on the coast, pay attention to those flags. Have you seen all these stories we've had about the rip currents? It's just been a deadly year there along the Gulf Coast when it comes to the rip currents and a lot of the fatalities that we've seen reported around Panama City back over towards Gulf Shores. So it has been a terrible year as far as the rip currents. So be careful there over the holiday weekend. But we got a lot more coming up. We're going to talk about the beach forecast. We're going to talk about our 7-day forecast. And we've got more on that humidity on the rise and how that really impacts the feels-like temperature and why we're calling for first alert weather days. You are watching Weather Extra.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome into Good Day, Alabama.
A new morning comes with preparing right, because while you slept, news broke.
We have new information from that breaking news that happened this morning.
While you head out, the storm we gave you the first alert for is on its way in. And as the key turns the ignition, your shorter route to work is being found.
Avoid 459 southbound completely because of a crash.
A new morning means everything you need for a good day is on Good Day, Alabama, always on your side.
The first alert traffic you need to get you there safe and on time. Tomorrow morning, everything you need for a good day is on Good Day Alabama.
You're late, out the door, and on the go. Don't worry.
Good Day Alabama continues all morning long.
And wherever you watch, this is what you need to know right now.
More reporters on the streets with more hours of news when you need it. Everything you need for a good day is on Good Day Alabama. Knowing first is everything. First Alert Weather.
Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. I'm meteorologist Lauren Linehan. The big story this week has been the unfathomable heat we're going to be dealing with as we wrap up June and head into July. We check in now with meteorologist Matt Daniel and Mickey Ferguson for an update for your travel plans.
Matt, it's about that time. We need to see what's beaching.
That's right. You know, if you want to try to get away from the heat, it's a little bit cooler along the Gulf Coast, but we want to make sure you stay safe because over the past several days, we've had a lot of stories of rip current threats all along the Gulf Coast. And a rip current threat, when it comes to weather-related deaths at the beach, that's #1 killer right there.
That's hard to believe because you have hurricanes, you have tornadoes, lightning, all that is pretty common down there. But rip current threats, 195 rip current threats. Was that was from 2002 to 22, so
yep.
195.
Yeah, and we're adding on to that. So what is a rip current, Mickey?
Well, strong current that moves away from the shore. It says it right there, Matt.
Okay, well, if you get caught in a rip current threat, the first thing you need to do is don't freak out.
Yep. You know, I had one suck me out one time. I happened to get a good breath, and I just let it take me out, and I popped up a couple hundred yards away and then made my way back in. But they say if you can swim perpendicular to those things and get out of the threat.
Yeah, you want to just sort of swim away from that rip current threat, and then you'll be able to get out of it. So just be mindful of that. One way to be mindful of it is when you go to the beach, look for the flags that are there. There's 4 colors they have. The purple one just means there's dangerous marine life, usually indicating maybe stingrays or jellyfish. If you see a green flag, that's usually good. I know at Orange Beach, they will never have the green flag there. They always have a yellow flag, so that means just use caution. There could be some moderate surf, but really pay close attention if it's a red flag.
Yeah, if it's a red flag, it's a high surf or a strong current, and they discourage you from going into the water. But a double red flag, that says it's off limits, and you could actually be fined or ticketed for that because it puts rescue people at risk too to go in there and rescue you.
Yeah, so definitely want to avoid the waters. Now, if you're heading down to the Gulf Coast over the next 3 days, we just have that moderate rip current threat, so just use caution. We'll note those water temperatures definitely warming up. We've got a lot of heat. It was like lower 80s yesterday or last week. Now we're in the mid 80s, so it's getting pretty warm down there.
And we still got July and August to go, so things are cranking up. Your beach forecast for tomorrow and Friday looks pretty nice. It is going to be ramping up with the heat, but it is cooler down there than it is up here.
Yeah, the temperature's near 90, but they have a lot of humidity. In fact, today they had an excessive heat warning, Mickey, and so the heat and humidity will be an issue going into tomorrow. So here's a look at some of the heat index values over the next 5 days. If you're going down towards, say, Gulf Shores, could be well into the triple digits throughout the weekend, but notice that trend. Slightly cooler, so we'll take that.
But anytime you're at 105 or and above, you just really need to take it easy, and also take it easy as far as the sun's rays, the UV index extremely high.
Yeah, very extreme. Usually I'll see 10s and 11s. We've got 12s down there, so that is a quick burn time. So what does that extreme range mean? Well, you just have a very extreme risk of harm from sun exposure. So you really need extra protection. You know, they actually encourage people, especially if you're sensitive to the sun, you might just want to avoid being outside from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. I know that can be difficult for those who are actually planning on going to the Gulf Coast.
You know, I've bumped into people before, and you can tell the people that aren't wearing sunscreen that have been out for a while, and I'll just say, hey, you need to go on inside or cover up because you are sunburned. You don't realize it yet, but that evening is going to be miserable trying to sleep with the sheets,
Yep.
everything. It's just awful. And you don't want to ruin the first day at the beach.
Yeah, and what you do, you have extra clothing too that can help. Grab a hat as well. Here's a look at that forecast for the next several days to the Gulf Coast. We're looking at pretty much upper 80s to near 90 going into the weekend. Those rain chances pretty limited, but just like here, we might see some increasing rain chances going into early next week, just in time for Independence Day on Tuesday.
Yeah, about a 50% rain chance, but I wouldn't cancel any plans based on that forecast. Just take it easy with those rip currents till they settle down. And you have got weather on the go through our First Alert weather apps, a free download on your mobile device.
Yeah, and if you're down there, take some pictures. We'd love to see that as well, and you might just see it right here
on Weather Extra.
What do you just say?
Send those sunburn pictures too.
Try not to do that. Stay safe.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please, for the love of God, do not send us pictures of your sunburn. Thank you. And don't get sunburned in the first place. Practice good sun safety. Well, new on Weather Extra tonight, folks who need to get out of the sweltering heat in the Tuscaloosa area will have a safe place to go. The Tuscaloosa County EMA confirming to us some churches will open their doors as cooling stations. 2 churches will allow visitors to come in Thursday and Friday. The cooling stations will be at Maranatha Seventh-day Adventist Church on Herman Avenue and Alberta Baptist Church on University Boulevard East. People can go there from noon to 7 p.m. on both days. They'll provide water. You must bring your own food or snacks.
The National Weather Service has stated that we will be receiving excessive heat. That way the index could be all the way up to 115 degrees. And so that is danger zone. So we want to do everything we can to make sure the citizens of Tuscaloosa County are taken care of, especially our homeless population.
And these 2 cooling stations will close Friday night, and a different one will open Saturday at First United Methodist Church, Forest Lake. If you need a ride to the cooling station, we have numbers you can call right now on the WBRC News app. Tania?
Thanks, Lauren. And 21 people have died during an ongoing heat wave in northern Mexico. The extreme weather conditions have also hospitalized dozens. Authorities say the high temperatures will continue, and they're urging people to avoid the sun. CNN's Rafael El Moro has the report.
Boats that used to be on water are now lying on grass. Residents can now walk where they used to be able to swim. This is Alajuela Lake, which serves as a reservoir for the Panama Canal. There used to be boats right here where we are, this nearby resident says. Water came this far. A severe drought has forced authorities in Panama not only to implement water-saving measures, but also to impose restrictions on cargo ships crossing the key global trade route.
Panama is the latest example of countries in Latin America having to deal with severe drought conditions. A report published by the European Commission states that precipitation deficits, above average temperatures, and recurrent heat waves are causing one of the worst droughts in decades in the region.
In the fall of 2021 and the spring of the following year, low water levels at the Paraná River, which flows for nearly 4,900 kilometers, 3,000 miles through Brazil, Paraguay, and Argentina, caused cargo ships to stop delivering goods.
The situation in Argentina is unprecedentedly bad. They're having the worst drought conditions in 75 years, and we're seeing those conditions exist in neighboring countries as well. Chile having the worst drought conditions in 50 years, and Uruguay having the worst drought conditions in 80 years.
Mexico is now recovering from a late spring heat wave, and last summer, President Andrés Manuel López Obrador declared an emergency in the northern state of Nuevo León due to lack of water, a situation that experts believe aggravated conditions that have pushed many Mexicans to leave their country.
So if we have large-scale movements of peoples from one place to another, it's going to put a strain on the social services of those countries. It's also just going to create economic dead areas in some of these countries where there cannot be business.
An analysis by Grow Intelligence published in 2021 concluded that Mexico's corn crop is threatened by the country's most widespread and intense droughts in nearly a decade, and tight corn markets are likely to transmit the shockwaves worldwide. Back in Panama, the government agency that manages the canal imposed draft restrictions, meaning cargo ships with a very low hull can't transit, which may slow the delivery of goods worldwide. Rafael Romo, CNN Atlanta.
Meanwhile, in Latin America, boats that used to be on the water are now lying on the grass. Residents can now walk where they used to be able to swim. This is Aluela Lake, which serves... Oh, wrong story here. We're actually going to talk about the millions of Americans that are under air quality alerts. And now... Hold on, we're getting this script up right here for you guys to talk about the millions of Americans that are under that air quality alert. If you look at these pictures on the screen right here, you'll be able to see that the smoke in the air is quite visible. And right now, millions of Americans are under that air quality alert. And we have another code orange for tomorrow across Jefferson and Shelby counties. But look at what's happening in cities up north. People in Pittsburgh, Chicago, and Milwaukee are once again dealing with smoke from wildfires in Canada. Nearly 500 wildfires are burning, and more than 250 of them have been deemed out of control. But the extreme heat is not over, and heat can drive up the amount of ozone pollution. Between the heat and the air quality, it's important for you to take care of yourself if you need to go outside. It's important that everyone stays aware of the excessive heat in our area over the next few days. If you can, avoid being outside during the hottest part of the day. And if you work outdoors or need to be outside, consider wearing large hats and long sleeves to protect you or yourself from the sun. Have a cold towel and take frequent breaks. People who have asthma, COPD, or are oxygen dependent are more likely to feel the effects of the air quality today. Some of the symptoms include wheezing or shortness of breath.
So I would tell them to minimize their time outdoors, make sure they have an adequate supply of their inhalers or whatever else they use. If they get in any distress, then just to have a low threshold to come to the ER if their symptoms are not improving at home.
Well, first responders are already preparing for the 4th of July holiday, reminding you to stay safe around fireworks this year. Before you light the fireworks, make sure it's legal in your area. Most cities don't allow fireworks. Also, if you're going to be around fireworks, make sure you're sober and avoid setting up near any property or children. If you're using sparklers, make sure to have water ready to cool off the metal sticks.
Not anything to play with. They're pretty. They make a lot of sparks, and kids can get a kick out of them. Proper adult supervision. They're not to be played with.
And these same rules apply to barbecuing. Make sure you're a safe distance from your home and others so the flames can't cause damage or injuries. And as we always like to stress this time of the year when there are fireworks around or at New Year's, make sure that your pets are safe and secure indoors. Well, coming up on First Alert Weather Extra, hopefully a lot of us will be spending time indoors over the next few days. With these First Alert weather days in place, we'll check back in with Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt to talk more about the heat, and I'll take you beyond the 7-day. We'll be right back.
We heard the first alert. Mom says we have to go. She says I don't have time to grab any more toys.
Need to be into a tornado-safe place. Get there right now as you have.
We have to get to our safe place because sometimes when you hear the siren, it's too late. That's why she says knowing first is everything.
We know weather can be grab the umbrella or jogging shoes, but it's so much more. It's a science, an art, led by knowledge and experience.
And no one has more of that than a WBRC First Alert weather team.
Warning you first with more hours committed to you. And the first forecast built to see weeks, days, and even minutes ahead, right down to where you live. From the team you trust on your favorite screen.
Doing the weather better. The WBRC First Alert weather team always on your side.
The first alert is more than a warning. It's a promise. A promise to get you out of harm's way with plenty of time to spare. 4 walls and a roof can be replaced. Lives can't. That's why knowing first is everything. First Alert Weather.
All right, welcome back to Weather Extra. We have another air quality alert that will be in effect for tomorrow. Jefferson and Shelby counties, avoid strenuous outdoor activities. You're going to want to do that anyway. It's going to be hot. It's going to be humid tomorrow. We have first alert weather days, and we'll probably see another one of these pop up for Friday, perhaps into our Saturday as well. Okay, let's check out the first alert weather day. What is this all about? Well, we're calling for first alert weather days for a heightened risk of heat exhaustion, and these temperatures out there over the next few days will be topping out close to 100, but we're going to see those higher dew points, and that's going to drive up the heat index. So the feels like temperature, as we call it, it's going to be topping 110 in some locations, and with that potential, you can see some of the max heat index possibilities in the next few days. That's why we're declaring days where you'll want to especially play it safe out there. As you plan ahead, schedule out your work day, make sure you factor in plenty of breaks. Of course, going into the holiday weekend here Saturday, if you had planned on chilling, enjoying the AC, maybe staying poolside, taking it easy, I think you got the right plan. That sounds like the plan, but look out Saturday afternoon because there could be some scattered storms coming back this weekend, and that's going to have an impact on temperatures as well. This is a high-resolution forecast data. I know we mentioned maybe a 20% chance for maybe a pop-up over West Alabama today. It's not happening. We're not seeing it. We're going to stay very dry. This ridge really hanging on. We've got air aloft. We've got sinking air. That's what happens. You get in these setups, the air, it sinks, it compresses, it warms, and we end up with some hotter conditions. You'll notice by 10 o'clock, showing 80 still on the map tonight. It's going to be a warm night, and that's why you may have noticed we haven't seen any pop-up clouds out there today, so not dealing with that kind of environment. I know a lot of times, it heats up and we start getting pop-up storms, but that's not happening in the kind of setup that we have. In the morning, a dry start, 70s early in the day. Thursday afternoon, again, code orange air quality, looking at 100 Tuscaloosa, Utah, 194 there in Anniston, very hot conditions. Friday starting out with some 70s in the morning. Friday afternoon going into the evening, it also looks dry, so we're going beyond the next 24, taking you on into Friday. And let's get on into that holiday weekend here. Again, Friday's a first alert weather day. Saturday's a first alert weather day, extreme heat, but Saturday evening we may see some storms finally start to work into the area. What will happen, and whether it's Saturday or Sunday, with time, we're going to see those storms start to pop up. Some of those could be strong or severe, and they'll start to erode away at this high pressure ridge. I think late Saturday, and then again on Sunday, that possibility is there. And the temperatures, the heat levels, you'll notice on the 7-day, they back off here in the early next week. Monday, Tuesday close to 90 degrees, normal high around 90. So looking at the 4th of July, it looks very seasonal. This is what you would expect. So for the fireworks shows, Thunder on the Mountain that you'll see right here on WBRC Fox 6 and streaming right here. If you're watching us on YouTube, we'll have that for you there on Tuesday as well. But you can see 90 degrees and that chance for storms most likely well before the big show kicks off here on Red Mountain Tuesday night. And you can see the overnight low temperatures down into the 70s. But look at the next few days. Went back and looked. Last time we had 100, and Lauren mentioned this the other day, it was back in July of last summer. So this time of year, it's not uncommon to see this kind of heat, but it's certainly been a long time, and be ready for those hot conditions. Make sure you have the blinds down in your home. Do what you can to keep the house cooled off, and just make sure that you check on friends and family here over the next few days and know where some cooling stations are if you need those. I've seen a lot of stories, several communities here. We've seen a lot of cooling shelters being opened as well, but stay well hydrated and be heat safe out there over the next few days. Want to share some pictures here real quickly from Warrior, Alabama. Yesterday I visited Sycamore, Alabama. Well, went north today, and a lot of WBRC Fox 6 fans. I tell you, we had a good time. I visited here last year, and this is at the Senior Center there in Warrior, Alabama, and all the residents there. We told stories, talked about this heat wave, of course, sang a few weather songs, and had some fun there performing and singing and sharing stories with the group. I mean, we talked about everything from Country Boy Eddie show all the way to some of the big weather events that we've had in the past. Talked a little bit about the hurricane season coming up as well, and just really had a great time there enjoying the company. company and certainly appreciate all of our friends in Warrior, Alabama. But always remember, if you ever want to reach out to the First Alert weather team, and especially, you know, with the school visits and want us to come out to talk to classrooms. I know it's a summer season right now, but don't forget we have several ways you can sign up on our website and also follow all of our team. We're on social media channels, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Find us all, and even TikTok. You can find us there too as well. Okay, so that's what's happening in our weather right now. Hot, hot, hot. And this is the segment that we look forward to every day, heading over to meteorologist Lauren Linehan, because Lauren, tell us we've got some cooler weather on the horizon. Okay, it's still quiet. It's still quiet.
No.
Yeah.
We will be a few degrees cooler. How about that?
That works. Hey, I'll take a few degrees.
Yeah, we'll take low 90s. It's still going to be stupid humid though, so you know, it could be better. But it's summer. This is what we expect, right? So we have the possibility to hit the triple digits over the next few days, but 6 to 10 days from now, it still looks like a good eastern 2/3 of the U.S. could be seen above average temperatures. Notice though, there's this little hole here in northeast Alabama, northwest Georgia, parts of Tennessee. That indicates in these spots possibly could see a little bit better rain coverage, and that would help to lower temperatures. But generally, still for most of Alabama, the possibility of above average temperatures. As we look at those temperature trends, this is going from July 4th to July 13th. You see that possibility, like Wes was mentioning. It's like, okay, well, if we get some decent rain in here, that could knock down temperatures. It's not a guarantee though. It's still going to be hot, and even if you have a day where there's more rain around and temperatures are only in the upper 80s, well, the problem is the humidity is still going to be ridiculous. So it will still feel pretty hot outside, even if the thermometer doesn't officially say it's 100 degrees. But it does look like once we get past next weekend, we could still see some more building heat. And surprise, surprise, the mornings are going to be warm and humid. We just expect that. Honestly, morning lows in the summertime, it is what it is. The question is just how hot is it going to be in the afternoon? But one thing that could impact temperatures is the rainfall outlook. 6 to 10 days from now does look like we could be seeing above average rainfall. And Wes and Tania have been talking about this today. As we transition into the holiday weekend, we begin to see that rain coverage going up. That ridge of high pressure that has a stronghold over us right now begins to break down. And so we've been talking about that lid over the atmosphere. It's almost like we slowly begin to lift that lid up. That allows some rising air, and we get a better chance of showers and storms. So let's look beyond the 7-day here. Here we are on July 6th, showing the possibility of some scattered showers and storms along the Gulf Coast, maybe a system coming in from the Gulf that could bring some more unsettled weather. Here we are Friday, July 7th, still showing that unsettled weather pattern in place. So a better chance of rain and storms than you would see on a typical summer day. And then going into that weekend, looking hot and humid, still trying to get some mischief here in the Gulf of Mexico. It looks like it's trying to spin up. This model this time of the year loves to spin up things in the Gulf of Mexico, and a lot of times it never even comes to fruition. So I want you to take this with a grain of salt. The bottom line is it shows the weather pattern could be unsettled. It could bring some rain and storms. Not necessarily going to see anything tropical, but it's something we're watching. So here we go, Monday, July 10th, just still showing a rather stormy weather pattern around. But when you don't have storms around, it can get pretty hot and humid, right? And all of that moisture, all of that humidity certainly helps to fuel more storms in the forecast. And so generally looks like we could be pretty stormy going into July with some more unsettled weather. But switching gears now, we've been talking about the Gulf of Mexico. In the Atlantic Ocean, more pieces of debris from the Titan submersible are being brought to shore in Canada. Crews have been using a robot to recover debris from the ocean floor. The Coast Guard says the Titan suffered a catastrophic implosion, killing all 5 people on board. An investigation into the incident is still ongoing. Well, we always like to end Weather Extra with a little animal story, so that's what we've got tonight. Some officers in Arizona getting creative to rescue a dog. This pup was stuck in a canal. Officers tried putting a leash on him, but he wasn't having it. Then the other officer remembered his wife had packed him some pumpkin muffins. The German Shepherd munched on the muffin, and the officers managed to get out of the water. The dog was not hurt. We love to hear a positive rescue story, and I don't know about you guys, but if there's a way to rescue me, it would also involve pumpkin. for a good pumpkin muffin. But you can catch us back here tonight, with or without pumpkin muffins, on First at 9 for an update on that 7-day forecast. I'm meteorologist Lauren Linehan. Have a safe and happy Wednesday evening.